Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jimmy, your favorite NLP coach, your favorite trading psychology coach. Today is a special day because I decided to do a public live stream for you guys where you can ask me questions, anything related to crypto, market, and especially trading psychology and mindset. So I see what I see at the moment is a lot of fear. People are really fearful to miss out, and I want to talk about this very topic. It's, by the way, the tank trader who inspired me to do this topic because he sees also a lot of fear in the market, a lot of FOMO. And I'm actually convinced this is not actually the time to FOMO in. And I would like to explain this later. By the way, it's never a good time to FOMO in, but especially now, I don't think it's worthwhile to FOMO. I want to talk about a lot of things about FOMO. The main thing I want to talk about today is especially fear, because FOMO comes actually from fear. Meanwhile, let me know in the comments where you're from. Tell me where you're from. I'm from the Netherlands. It's 8 o'clock. It's really dark outside. It's basically night time or evening, actually. It's cold. It's cloudy. Tell me where you live, the weather, and tell me the last time when you FOMOed in. We'll start soon after the intro. Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. FOMO. Who hasn't experienced FOMO before? If you say I, then I'm pretty sure you're lying. And I know most of you are not liars. I think most of you have a decent amount of self reflection. I think I'm gonna enlarge a little bit my slides so I will not appear on the screen. I'm pretty sure most of you won't mind. Yes. So FOMO is a real thing, and I want to talk about FOMO, not telling you like the regular stuff. I want to really go deep into FOMO. Later, we can talk about other stuff like charts. If is there anything you want me to chart for you, let me know. Also, include the time frame. Be specific. Another pro tip from me: be specific in your requests. Just a few rules. Like I have a few rules. When you join my live stream, rule number one is play full out. I mean, I give you now the opportunity to to ask me questions, anything which is related to crypto, trading psychology, mindset, neuro linguistic programming. So use this opportunity to ask, to learn. Secondly, make sure at the end of this live stream there's something you want to apply in real life. I always say knowing is not the same as doing, and knowing while you're not doing is basically the same as not knowing. You don't want to be that jerk, sorry to say so, that knows stuff but does exactly the opposite. And of course, this happens from time to time, and I'm here to redirect you guys into the right direction. Another thing is being active. Most of you, I think you have kids, maybe not. Maybe you're a student, maybe not. Maybe you're somewhere, really far in your life. That's all fine, but joining me in this live stream tells me a few things. One, you're taking yourself serious, you're taking mindset serious, and you're taking trading psychology serious. So kudos for that. However, just listening to me or anyone else, it's not going to make a huge difference in your trading performance. And I'm pretty sure you have some goals. There are some goals you want to achieve. And to achieve those goals, there needs to be some action, some momentum, some thinking, some reflection. Just scrolling and listening, and then scrolling and listening to someone else, and then someone else, and then you listen to someone else, this is not going to help you. Fact is, this is going to stagnate your growth potential. And I don't want you guys to stagnate your growth potential. I want you guys to, to evolve and to learn, and especially learn from your mistakes. There is a good reason why so many people made so many mistakes in a previous bull cycle, and the cycle before, and the cycle before, and the cycle before. And that's because how you do anything is how you do basically everything. And if you don't have a vision of the future, you'll be left with what? You're going to be left with your old bad habits and behavior, your old bad self limiting beliefs. And those self limiting beliefs will push you to what? To do the same thing you did before, making the same mistakes. For example, not selling because you FOMOed. For example, you bought too quickly all at once because you FOMOed. There was fear. Or you just listened to some random guy on the internet, me example, and then taking trading related questions, trading related decisions. This is also not a good thing. So I do see that a lot of people are really eager to learn, especially in a bear market. I see a lot of people really motivated to learn, really encouraged to better themselves. But you can only better yourself when you change your foundational beliefs about yourself and about the markets. For example, if your foundational belief towards the market, about the market, is there's a lot of manipulation and the will's always trading against me, or the market's always trading against me, then I'm sorry, you just have a huge handicap, and this handicap won't bring you far into trading performance. It's as simple as that. You, in the core, need and must change your self-limiting beliefs. That's actually tip number one. There have been like a lot of polls have been conducted, a lot of surveys about what the toughest thing is when it comes to trading. One of my ex-colleagues, she found this study, and it's actually fear. And I think it's completely normal that fear is like the main driver in actually most of our actions. If you think about it, I mean, think about it. Fear is actually the emotion that activates our survival mechanism. And with surviving, it's not like really like the physical surviving, but it's also the social surviving, the emotional surviving. And I will explain this later in a few slides later. One thing you need to know is fear is real. However, it always starts with a trigger. There's always a trigger. In psychology, they actually say that there are actually two real type of fears, maybe even three. It's one, falling. Like if you're afraid of, we're afraid of falling because when we fall, we can hurt and damage our body. Two, fear gets activated when there's a loud noise, really loud noise that activates our fear. And the third one is getting rejected. This is also closely related to FOMO and fear. I will explain this also later. So this actually means that most of your fear responses are actually learned. They like you're not. It's something that your environment has instilled them in your brain. Let me check the chats. I'm gonna share you my Bitcoin thesis. Happy to do that. Well, I there's an interesting question. Which types of self-limiting beliefs are there? I see self-limiting belief as a self-limiting belief. The perhaps you can categorize them into different self-limiting beliefs, but the whole thing is of a self-limiting belief is a belief always starts with a thought, and this thought, you repeat this thought many times until it becomes a belief. And when you have this thought about your self-limiting beliefs, your subconscious mind basically eavesdropping your internal dialogue. So if you in and to let explain this hopefully more clear is when you're telling your subconscious mind to do something, your subconscious mind will do it this way. So our subconscious mind, what it actually does from a neuro linguistic programming point of view is it's actually executing its commands. Your beliefs are the commands of your mind. If this doesn't make sense, let me know and I will try to rephrase it differently. So again, fear, a really tough thing. Fear is also not something you can eliminate 100%. Fear is just there in our body and it has a function. It's our survival mechanism, and it helped us a lot of times. However, sometimes fear gets triggered while there's no real fear around us. And I'm not that type of guy that will tell you, well, your emotions are actually the real enemy of your trading performance. I would say emotions are pretty neutral. They are there. They're actually biological expression of you, of your identity. However, not understanding your emotion, that's actually the real enemy of your trading performance, period. So there are a lot of emotions, six core emotions or five, it depends the school of thought. Joy, anger, fear, love, sadness, and the sixth one is disgust. And all these other emotions we experience, they are actually derived from these primary emotions. And we all know that when there's a lot of fear, we actually are losing our confidence. And when we are losing our confidence, we automatically are losing our what? Competences. So confidence and competence are pretty much really correlated with each other. I always say when somebody asks me, "Hey Jimmy, tell me how can I boost my confidence?" Well, there are many ways, but one of the best way is to work on your competences. So read a book, understanding a indicator, for example, not just globally, but really understanding it fully. How is this indicator derived? Where is it derived from? How what does it do? Test it. Do a lot of back testing. Learn about it. Write essays about it. That's even maybe the best way to learn something. To write about it. And I highly encourage to really. It's good to have global understanding of like TA and about trading, but at the end of the day, you want to have an edge, something that works for you. And if you want to have something that really works for you, become a master in that specific thing. You cannot become a master in everything. You cannot become a master in auction market theory, in RSI, MA crosses, heat maps, you name it. It's impossible. There needs to be something you want to fully focus on, and you want to be so good in that specific thing that you're able to write really good thesis about that. That's a technical edge, but this technical edge is not always um, enough. There also needs to be a mental edge, and this mental edge is really important. Again, fear and greed. This is actually a screenshot I made today from the fear and greed index. I'm not that person that makes trading decisions based on this index. At least not in isolation. It's always nice as a confirmation. So think about it. The last time when you were really fearful, what happened? Well, I'm pretty sure what happened with most people, sidelined. Well, there were opportunities. I think it's good when there's a lot of fearful arousal to do nothing. However, at the end of the day, or the week, or the month, you want to lower the volume of fear because fear always and always influences your decision making process. And as I said, it's impossible to eliminate fear 100%. It's just impossible. We have to live with fear, but we also need to learn how to regulate and lower the volume of fear because fear sometimes gives a really false signal. And you cannot see that false signal if your body is in a fearful state, because fear always starts with the mind and ends up in the what? In the body and your behavior. This beautiful brain, and by the way, there's a recording at the end. You can rewatch this. It's on YouTube. This is your beautiful brain. We all have a beautiful brain. And fear is really old. As I said, it's a survival mechanism. Your number one goal of your subconscious mind is what? It's surviving, it's to protect you. And fear is there to protect you. And as I said, three types of fear that are you're born with are the fear of what? Falling, the fear of loud noises, and getting rejected. And now let's talk about rejections. Um, Getting rejected, especially not so long time ago, actually, a few hundred years ago, even 100 years ago, 200, 300 years ago, when you get rejected from your tribe, you are just alone in the world. You against thieves, people who want to kill you, animals who want to kill you, other tribes who want to enslave you. So being alone in this cold world is not something we like, right? Because it lowers our survival chances. So we want to be part of a community, of a tribe. And this is actually also the reason of the herd bias. We like to be part of a herd because what? Because it gives us the feeling that a herd is big. It's subconsciously we think, okay, if there's such a big group, this such a big group cannot fail, and most likely they're correct. So this is another bias. Also comes from what? From your fear responses. So there's always a trigger. Not gonna make it too technical, but eventually your amygdala gets activated, and then you're ready for what? Fight, flight, and freeze. Simple. These three triggers, and then your body creates a lot of hormones, especially adrenaline, and that creates again changes in your body, and these changes will enforce what? Your fear thoughts, because your body gives feedback to your emotional brain. Your emotional brain gives what? Feedback to your body, and then you're actually in a loop of fearfulness whole the day. Maybe not super aroused as in your fear, but there is a lot of fear in you, and when there is a lot of fear in you, this will influence your decision making process. So if you, for example, have a plan, you want to buy Bitcoin when A, B, and C happens, and you see this, but you're in this, you're really fearful and you're afraid to lose money, you're not going to take that action. You're not going to execute. You see, you can have a technical edge, but if you don't have this mental edge, uh, this technical edge won't bring you that far. By the way, this amygdala, it's really small. It has the size of an almond. And when it gets triggered, like your whole body, everything gets activated. We are afraid to lose money, but what's even worse is losing status, your social status. What I see with people, and when I ask them, especially my mentees and coaches, is people they like to compare themselves to others, right? Uh, this is completely normal. People they take risk because they don't want to miss out the profit and the social status they can get, which I think is of course a really bad thing. Losing money is a certainty in trading. At least like if you're gonna take 100 trades, um, I can basically guarantee you like 50, 60, maybe even 70% are losing trades or investments. And it doesn't mind because eventually Maybe you're aiming for a certain risk reward ratio, and if that aligns with your win rate, you can be profitable with 70 losing trades and 30 winning trades. However, there is loss aversion bias. We don't treat a losing trade or a losing investment the same way we're treating a winning trade. Like winning and losing trade, we don't treat them in a linear way. If you lose a trade or an investment, for that matter, you need to make mentally three winning trades to compensate that pain and to feel good again. And this is what we call loss aversion bias. We're really sensitive to loss. And loss aversion bias is another expression of what? Of fear, just like FOMO. So people are also fear getting this fear arousal, they're getting fearful about being wrong. If there's like one certainty or a few actually in trading and in investing, is you're gonna be wrong, you're gonna miss out, you're gonna lose money, but you can still keep your status. And this is something you want to, if you're gonna look back to the previous cycles, not sure if you have experienced them, but ask yourself, when you FOMOed in, what were your personal fear triggers and FOMO triggers? And do you understand your own thinking? Can you vividly go back to the previous cycle and understand what made you to FOMO in? If you can't, then this means that your self-reflection ability, it needs some training, if I may be honest. If you can, congratulations. It means your self reflection ability is pretty advanced. This self reflecting ability is important because it will help you to make a different vision of the future about yourself. As I said, if you remain the same, if you don't have a vision of the future, how you want to, where you see yourself acting in a specific way, you'll be left with your bad habits. And these bad habits, even if these bad habits causes you to lose money, you will most likely repeat them in the next cycle. So understand your personal fear triggers. It's important. At the moment in this live stream, I cannot really identify your personal fear triggers. Maybe I can on a one-on-one basis. But now at this moment, if I were you, write this down. And I always say you are as good as you write. So if you have personal fear tricks, write them down and then also understand and write down your own thinking process. What has caused you to FOMO? What were the thoughts you had, the repetitive thoughts you had before you really FOMOed in? What were the feelings? Who were you following? What coin? What day, if possible? With which month you were trading this? And if you can vividly write this down on a piece of paper, you are really on the right track to create a really strong mental edge. And this is something you must do yourself. I cannot do this for you. This is something you need to do for yourself. I would say this is a little exercise. Ask yourself, when was the last time you overcame FOMO, but also write down, when was the last time you just gave into FOMO, you FOMOed into specific coin or stock or indices or whatever you normally trade, and write this down as vivid as possible. This is one of the best ways to work on your mental edge. There are a lot of things you could do, but like my real tips are actually pretty easy. I promised you three tips. I'm gonna break my promise because I'm gonna give you way more tips than three. One, as always, find your root causes of your FOMO and your fear. Two, trading is a 24/7 industry. And sometimes we're so obsessed with trading And I think this is a bad thing. It's good to have like a healthy obsession for trading, but there must be something in your life that overpowers your obsession for trading. You need to have a break, take a trading break, and focus on your other obsessions. Um, Maybe obsession is the wrong word, but something else that gives you pleasure in life. Could be trading, could be hugging with your pets, with your wife, going for a walk. I don't know, traveling. A trading break is important. I believe like even like a training break of 2, 3, 4 days is maybe enough to consolidate your thoughts and to go back to your baseline. Another tip I already gave you. Look, guys, listen. I want to. I want you guys to listen. You are as good as you write. So please write down your thought process, like your thinking process of, the moments you FOMO in. You need to write like the thinking process. You need to write down what happened prior to your FOMO. Write this down. Four, understanding your why. We are trading for different reasons. Listen, money shouldn't be the reason. Money is a resource. We're trading here for a why. And I always say your why should be so strong that it can overcome pain and adversity. Trading is about pain. Let's be honest. Even if you're in a winning train, there's a lot of pain. And I will explain. Imagine you're open to trade, an investment, whatever, and it goes up, up, up. You're happy, you're content, you take profit, and you close the trade. And then it goes up again. And now you're not that happy again with your profits because you're comparing your own profit with a profit you could have. This is trading. It's always about pain. Uh, we all, I think, experience this. We're in a trade, getting stopped out, and then it moves up. Maybe with 10%, 20, 30, 40, 100, maybe even 200%. I experienced that. That's also not a really convenient and pleasurable experience. So you have to have this really strong why that overcomes all the struggles that comes with trading. For me, it's living closer to my core values. My core values are important and I want to live in line with my core values. That's one of the reasons why I trade. You see, it's then not about money. Yes, money is one of the goals, but it's not my main why, my main driver. Another tip, praying, mindfulness is something I believe could work. So if you're not religious, which I can understand, do some mindfulness. Mindfulness is just closing your eyes and just focus on your thoughts and breathe in and breathe out. 4 or 5 minutes is enough. I have a Fitbit watch, which reminds me to do this mindfulness every day. I do this 1 minute, 2 minutes a day. It's enough for me. Rewrite your training beliefs. Rewrite your training beliefs. I already talked about self limiting beliefs. We all have them. Rewrite them. If actually, you should also have a training buddy, to be honest, and then talk with your training buddy about your training beliefs. Someone who challenges you to, who asks you, hey, listen, my dear friend, what's your belief about you yourself as a trader? How do you see yourself? Um, these beliefs are really paramount. If they're negative, try to change them into positive. For example, if your foundational belief is, your trading belief is, I'm a bad risk manager, change that into, I'm becoming a better risk manager. You see, there's a difference. And as I said, your internal dialogue, your beliefs are important because your subconscious mind is what? Eavesdropping your beliefs, eavesdropping your internal dialogue. Another tip, um, you heard this already from me, I think, in the previous live stream, but it is fall in love. I mean, deeply in love. Fall in love, deeply in love with your process. Fall in love with your process. Because this way you shift your focus from your P&L to the process. And it's all about the process. Reward yourself also, not for your high P&L, but reward yourself for following up your process. And have a trading plan. As I said, trading plan is something which is written on a piece of paper or in a document. I want you to have a trading plan. You can have like a basic trading plan of 3 4 pages. um, that's maybe even sufficient for you, but at least like have a trading plan. Understand your entry triggers, your exits, how you see the market environment and the macro environment. um, have a good understanding of the potential catalysts that could push crypto or other risk on assets, or push down crypto and other risk on assets. I think this trading plan will save you so much anxiety and so much stress. It's gonna, I'm sure it's going to be a game changer for you if you have your own trading plan. If you're in the bird nest, you're thinking about writing a trading plan, um, but you're not sure if you need feedback. Look, of course, like each trading plan is unique. Ask me, tag me, share me your trading plan, and I can comment on it. Again, it's really personal, but there are some elements that each trading plan should have. Ladies, gentlemen, any questions for me? Otherwise, I will just continue. This is really simple journaling. Um, if there's if fear has caused you to behave in a certain way, and you execute it based on fear, um, there are a few things you can write down: how you acted, what your mind were telling you, like your thoughts, your thinking process, and the emotions you have experienced. This, again, guys, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the best ways to create what? A mental edge. As I said, you can have a technical edge, but if your mental edge is not in line with your technical edge, you still cannot execute your technical edge. I mean, how often have we seen a trade set up? We want to go long or short, but something within us, a fear response, caused us, triggered us to not execute. A lot of times, I'm sure about that. Or the other way around. Things are going up. We don't want to miss out. We just enter this trade, even though it doesn't align with our trading thesis or our trading plan. As I said, you like trading is all about execution eventually, and if you want to execute properly, you need to have a proper what mindset. Um, by the way, are there some people with chart requests? I know someone asked me about Bitcoin, which I can do for you guys. Um, Let me share then my trading view. I'm not sure if you guys have tried out Trading View app on the computer. It really works well. Yes. My thesis is actually really simple. This was my thesis. I anticipated a few days ago, actually, this direction. Um, it's now slightly changed. This is a falling wedge. I like classical patterns. I see that Bitcoin is actually flirting with this trend line of this of the falling wedge. The RSI broke out, which I think is really positive. However, if we go to the daily, Bitcoin is, by the way, not the only one, but there is a serious resistance from the 200 EMA, and there is horizontal resistance. So it's actually a layer of different resistances, dynamic and static resistance. Um to me, I don't think that it's really that easy for Bitcoin bulls to reclaim this really technical but also emotionally loaded um, uh, price level. Bitcoin is, by the way, not the only one. If you go to the S&P, this is a nice throwback, right? So it went up, nice wick here. That looks really nice, but this is also the 200 EMA, this gray line. This is also a really interesting trend line. Just like with Bitcoin, there's a trend line. This is also a trend line, but this there's no falling wedge. So I reckon if the bulls can reclaim the 200 EMA and cross this trend line, it will be really interesting for also for crypto. Um, Yeah, so we do give also a lot of signals on Discord. Pretty sure you guys already know that. There's also now an opportunity to get these signals for free, um, or to get actually access to our premium content on Discord for free. The only thing you need to do is go to this page, thebirdnest.com. There's this calls only. Of course, you can pay for it, $99 a month, and or you can calls only with Bybit. Here you see the description. By the way, with calls only, it's not only that you're getting calls, you're also getting once in the week educational content, really interesting write-ups, and you're part of the bird nest, so you can ask your questions about trading, sharing your charts with the team, and getting challenged by others. It's all about challenging each other. So yeah, I would say try this out because on Discord we are pretty active nowadays, or always have been active. Of course, especially in the last days, we captured some really nice moves. Okay, I'm gonna give you this as a free bonus. My friend Julian has charted app and gave a pretty nice setup here. This is a setup myself, which I gave few days, Friday last week, I guess, so 6 days ago. Velocity, so I bought it back, which is doing now pretty well. Where is it actually? Which hit our TP2, which is 65% from our base entry. You can expect this kind of calls on a daily basis, or pretty frequent, and we're pretty how do you call it, transparent with the stats, because every week every month you get to see the stats, the performance of the calls, including the win rates. So it's always full transparency you're getting from us. As for Bitcoin, this is resistance. It's hovering below or around resistance. Resistance is resistance until it isn't. So meanwhile, I yeah, there is a so-called um, you could see it like a potentially a bear flag, but bear flag at resistance. Well, it's actually a layer of resistances. Um, I would be careful with longing actually Bitcoin. But yesterday's candle also suggested that there's some, buying appetite here. So for me, I'm not really particularly looking for longs or shorts. I'm just waiting what the market will decide. Uh, if we can reclaim this level, that would be really, really nice because it will break out basically from the wedge. And the wedge is something which I often try to find the numerous coins, such as this one, Polkadot. I think Polkadot looks really good. My main thesis was actually to buy here, but I'm willing to buy here as well if it can make a really good throwback. Another one I find interesting is Veracity, but it already broke out. So that's why I like really falling wedges, especially if the falling wedge is accompanied with a divergence. It could be a RSI divergence or on the OBV. Always make sure if it breaks out that the volume also goes up. That increases the likelihood that it will continue going up. Another one I think it's quite interesting is Link. It's actually ranging here. Um, I have my set my alerts here and here, so I will just treat it as in range. Breakout would be really interesting because then it will be then it will break out from a, how old is this range already? Yeah, 252 days. So the longer it's ranging, the stronger the breakdown or the breakout. Um, you see that I often work with trend lines, also in the RSI. It seems that Link has a huge challenge to break, like the 50 zone. It always gets kind of rejected here, but it does make higher lows. A breakout from this RSI would be for me a trigger, or I'm just gonna wait for that breakout here. I'm not in a hurry with Chainlink. This is another falling wedge, but here we do have like really strong resistance. At least I consider this as a strong resistance. The same thing, breakout from the RSI, but now it's curling down. I know that this is the week, so it can change. But if Cardano can reclaim this gray box, I think that would be a really good opportunity for me. So with that said, guys, I promised you some chart requests. I hope this helped. I hope really it's my wish that you guys are not going to FOMO in and that you're going to lower the volume of fear. As I said, you cannot eliminate fear. It's just impossible. But what's possible is to understand your thinking process, manage yourself, and manage your fear responses so you can make rational decisions. And as I said, you are as good as you write, so write down your plan. Listen to me, guys. Write down your plan. It's something you can do only yourself. It's cost effective. It takes a while, maybe a few hours, maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, but I will promise you it's worthwhile. It's really worthwhile. So make that plan, understanding your thinking process, and I'm pretty sure if you are doing this, you're on the right track on cultivating the right mental framework that is required for trading. Okay, guys, thank you very much. If you like this, give it a like, comment, share it with your friends, and hope to talk with you guys soon. Bye bye.